Password?
Ass feel.
Hey, buddy,
Oh, wait, thank you.
Buy the cheap shit again. It tastes like this.
Hey, man, you can't drink water.
Look at these two fucking ass clowns walking in like they own the place.
Doing a show here.
Goddamn millennials. Welcome to the Yancey Street Speakeasy. It's about to get really hot in here. Really hot.
Oh, damn. My pants are already off.
No, I meant because my air conditioner's not on right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, dude.
Probably shouldn't have gotten so prematurely naked there.
Ugh. This is going to be a very sweaty podcast, in which we are going to talk about the 4 movies we watched together right before this. We're still... I'll be surprised if we actually do manage to watch all of them. Like, very surprised, but we are still...
Yeah, we're trying
to watch all of those sweet Marvel movies before Infinity Wars come out.
We got through phase 1. We did it all the way through.
We sure did, man. We made it all the way to Avengers, during which we definitely did not fall asleep.
Nope, didn't do it. We stayed awake real hard.
Yeah. Slept on the couch, woke up, and then went to work.
Yeah.
Because
we're good at what we do.
Because we care about all of our listeners and the people that scrutinize us on the internet.
Yes, I've been highly scrutinized.
By me. Right now. Due to the...
Okay, so anyway, we...
severe lack of pants in this room.
Moving on.
There's a deficit of pants in this room.
Is that because we're both wearing shorts?
No, it's because we're both naked from the waist down. And that's how we do all our podcasts.
My ass is sticking to this chair.
At least yours is sticking, mine's sinking into it.
Alright, anyway. So we watched Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and The Avengers.
And The Avengers.
And Marvel's The Avengers.
Well, yeah.
Stylized Marvels.
Stylized Marvels.
The Avengers.
Marbles, the Avengers. Like, the entire movie is just like somebody just rolls a marble into a bunch of other ones and just clack. And somebody's like, fuck you, Loki.
Okay, so we're going to talk about those movies a little bit. Maybe like...
No?
Not even like 10 seconds per movie?
I've made an executive decision. We're not talking about them.
We watched them, but we're not telling you what happened.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
See it for yourself, you freeloaders.
You think we put in all this effort just so that you could find out what happened in the movie? No.
We're just, our entire podcast is be like, hey man, this one time I watched Star Wars. Yeah, how was it? I'll never tell.
It's none of your fucking business.
Anyway, you had something cool to say, and I keep interrupting you.
Did I?
With my cooler things to say. I'm gonna get punched in the face by the end of this episode.
Okay, so what did you think about Iron Man Part 2?
Iron Man the Deuce was... So I actually enjoyed it more watching it again. I think that's one of the only... I remember my first impression of that movie being...
Let me know when you say something different other than I enjoyed it more rewatching it again.
Okay. No, I think I formed a very negative opinion of it the first time I watched it. And I think going back and watching it again, I was a lot more into it, a lot more. I understood more references. I knew because at that point the badass ninja girl, secret agent girl that showed up with Sam Jackson. I was like, man, that's really interesting that she was secretly a badass the whole time. Had no idea she was Black Widow. I was not super conscious of Black Widow as a character at the time, so that was one big thing that I see. I look back on now. I was not nearly as familiar with the Marvel Universe.
I was really into the Marvel Universe, but somehow I could not get behind, like I couldn't grasp the idea that they were actually putting all these characters into the movie. So I didn't really understand. I mean, when this movie came out, it was already 2010. So I was 19.
Really? That soon?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the first two came out in 2008, and then we had a year of nothing, and then a year of emptiness inside.
And then Iron Man 2 came out, and...
Yeah, and so I didn't realize that I didn't know from moment one that it was Black Widow, but I figured it out, pretty quickly. Like, so when her big reveal, when she's kicking badass. When she's kicking badass. When she's in
not the good asses, only the naughty ones. Anyway,
when she's in her full jumpsuit, I recognized the jumpsuit right away. I knew that was who it was supposed to be. So I really liked that reveal. I was not as big a fan of Justin Hammer the first time I watched it through, but I've definitely grown to love him. I think he's really funny.
Same. He's a great just kind of like a weak villain.
I thought that he was a little bit weak up front, but I thought that they really weak is in boring up front, but
Oh no! I thought he was interesting from the get go because I felt the fires of that sort of competition, of that rivalry going on from the very beginning.
I mean, I just thought that he was kind of a wannabe, but then as you go farther through the movie.
Oh, you mean not like a weak character, just not as important to the film.
Yeah, I mean, I think weak. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I thought you meant his significance or his performance, because I thought he.
Well, in the beginning, right off the bat, I thought I don't know how to put it, but I thought that they were just kind of, throwing a sponge at the wall. Does that make sense? With the character, they're we're gonna give the viewers a guy who's obviously weaker than Tony Stark, obviously not as cool. And so right off the bat, you're kind of oh, he's annoying. But if he actually plays the character so funny,
yeah, he did. That's the villain power exchange in that movie was all over the place, because at first there's no real obvious villain, and it's this wimpy wannabe that shows up. Then all of a sudden it's Whiplash. Then all of a sudden Hammer is in charge of him.
I thought Justin Hammer was by far the more fun and interesting villain in the long run than Whiplash. Whiplash had almost zero lines.
Yeah.
He was kind of cheesy. They were trying to make him cool, badass, but he was just kind of. It was very strange how his motivations seemed to be vengeance oriented, and then at the end it was just sort of greed oriented. Well, no, it was always vengeance. I mean, he tried to kill him. The only reason...
No, and I guess that with the subplot of him hijacking Hammer's entire line of.
Well, the only reason he hijacked it was to get to Tony Stark.
No, I'm saying that in the beginning it's vengeance for my father. You stole my stuff. Da da da. And then at the end, I didn't hear. I never heard mention of the Tony's actual injustices. It just seemed like it was kind of a blind rage.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I would say it wasn't well developed. That's for sure. And his real drive, it's very vague. His technical knowledge is very vague. It doesn't tell you he studied or he's been working on machines his whole life. It just shows you this this shredded, tatted up dude with dreadlocks.
Yeah.
And be he's an engineer.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not supposed to typecast, but it's just
no.
It just didn't work really.
No, I agree. I think the background and lead up to his impressive prowess with technology and engineering was just kind of like, and here's a smart guy.
Yeah.
As smart as Tony Stark, maybe. He made his own
arc reactor.
Yeah, he made his own arc reactor, and then Tony was like, well, this just won't do, and made his triangular one because everyone knows that geometrically triangles are the superior shape.
Obviously.
Yep, and that's real science. That's actually the reason.
Yep.
Read the comics.
Yeah.
Because triangles are cool.
Yep.
Yep.
3 points are better than 0.
Yeah. Think of it. Love triangle.
Love circle.
Love circle.
Love circle sounds better. Actually.
That love circle sounds stupid. It sounds like a functioning relationship. Fuck that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Yep. All right. Hey, we are creatures of habit, if nothing else. We are consistent. If
we're creatures of really unhealthy bad habits. That's what we are.
You're my bad habit.
I need a cigarette.
I'm a dick to you. And the jokes keep coming. So anyway, Whiplash was definitely one of the least memorable villains, if individuals in the entire Marvel franchise.
Yeah, he was definitely not memorable. I didn't love
his cool whippy things.
His whipper tang.
Well, I remember like pointing it out during the movie and laughing like.
What if we just dubbed Pootie-Tang over over Whiplash? So every time.
Yes.
Every time he whips his whips.
Pootie-Tang.
What a ta.
What a ta. I mean, like they're cool weapons, but I feel like they were kind of like underutilized. Like that's his motif. Like that's his MO. I guess was having the whippy things.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it was overused. It's just like
underused.
Oh, I wouldn't say it was over or underused. It's just like, here's the thing. Look at it, and we're not going to give you anything else.
I did like him working with it openly. Like, he was applying a current to them, like, openly through the...
Drinking vodka.
And just like, I just go leave these here, and it'll be fine. Pat, pat, pat. And just run a current through them because I like the pretty blue light. I have no use for fluorescence.
Yeah, So anyway, I thought that his whole reveal at the Monaco Grand Prix was stupid. I thought...
But we talked about this during the movie, too. I thought the whole thing about... I thought some of the cooler and more relatable and more like, yeah, that's Marvel. Things about was him attending the Prix and then buying somebody out of their driving slot.
Well, I mean, from what I understood, he owned the car. And if you own the car, you have a driver. It's like a rich people play toy. And he basically took the car away from the driver. Which, that's all semantics. But I thought the idea of Tony Stark taking control of his own car at the Monaco Grand Prix was, like... I thought the idea of it was cool, but...
Execution
just really, like, not there. It just... I don't know. It just... I can't quite put my finger on what it was. It felt like excessively theatrical too early in the movie, I think.
I think the image of him entering the car would have been better served in like a montage or like a list of examples of his like kind of exuberance and flame and like kind of personality and flamboyance. It didn't deserve its whole own bit. It could have been like him getting in the car and then him hilariously crashing like or something later, like ow man, I gave it a shot, and then climbing out and then moving on to something else.
They could have used it as a little like if someone is trying to talk Tony out of making a bad choice. And he's like, all my choices are perfect for me. And he's like, well, what about the time you did this?
What about the time you did that? Just a bunch of Family Guy style flashbacks.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That's not the best idea, but you know.
I don't want to say how to do it better. All I'm trying to say is that particular scene in the movie just didn't carry over well. I felt like it was really early in the movie. And
like when I remember...
Too many explosions too fast.
Yeah, a little Michael Bay-ish. But
yeah, that's exactly right. It felt like Michael Bay stepped in, directed a scene
where he wanted very little plot, almost no character development to happen.
Exactly.
Just a bunch of flashy explosions.
That has got to be the best way that I could ever describe that scene, because like when Whiplash is smashing the cars with his whips and they're flying to the side, it's just like I don't know. It's like, is Whiplash really such a bad person that he's just killing other drivers? Like, I mean, from what I got, it's like he's kind of a callous guy, but it's like, why is he so motivated that he's willing to kill innocents? Because that's like what he hates Tony Stark for. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when I think of that movie, the scenes I remember, it had a really weak beginning, because that was Whiplash was the focal point of the entire beginning, except for that one part where when I remember the movie, I think of Tony Stark embarrassing Hammer in front of Congress, or wherever they were, and
that was a fun scene. That was very Iron Man.
Yeah, that was very him. He's like, let me just hack your television, and here are the failures, and then I when I think of the movie, I remember. War Machine showing up for the first time and them duking it out in the house.
Yep, that was a good scene.
Drunk Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
dancing for his guests. That was fucking fun. just like quintessential Tony Stark. I think of and then I think of that fight scene. That fight scene had a lot of hokey stuff in it. It worked.
Which one?
The one at the very end where they team up in kind of the menagerie there, the terrarium or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. It was a little bit too pretty. Tracey's excited by the audio spikes.
I'm not excited so much as I am concerned for the eardrums of our listeners. If they're still here, are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying the show? Should
we be louder?
Give us a like to let us know right now. This is live, folks. You didn't know?
Hey, thanks for that like. I feel better about myself.
Oh, man. Oral Fisting 69.
Liked your podcast.
Liked your podcast. Yeah, God. Yeah, I do love internet. I do love internet names.
I do love internet porn.
I mean, yeah. But also, I wish, I was actually talking to somebody about that. We're gonna take a sidebar.
About internet porn?
About internet porn. So what's your favorite site? Is it Pornhub or Pornhub? I was actually considering hey folks, you guys want to play with me on PlayStation Network? My PlayStation account is Viva La France 94. Join in, come play Overwatch with me or something. Should I not have given that out?
That's your own prerogative. I mean, when you're consistently hassled by people who hate our podcast, then you have no one to blame but yourself.
I think 3 people listen to our podcast and 2 of them are your parents.
The third one is me when I re-listen.
I did get confirmation from 2 friends the other day that listened to at least the first episode. So, hey, if you made it this far, holla to Young and to Jeremy. Love you guys.
I love you, Jeremy.
Mostly you, Jeremy. He's keeping it so tight. Fuck. Anyway, give Art and Alice a kiss for me. I do have at least 4 confirmed people that have listened to it. I received Snapchats of people opening it. No confirmation.
Didn't we say we're not supposed to sound desperate? There's 2
Fuck
people.
You guys.
There's 2 people that are listening.
There's 2. I'm so excited. I'm so important. Hey, for y'all that are listening, fuck off. There, do you think that worked?
Yeah.
You can all eat my chode. Do you think that worked? I'm definitely not.
I don't know. Are they eating your chode?
I mean, I do have no pants on right now.
Very sweaty ass.
Very sweaty ass. Definitely not letting my mom and dad listen to this. Jeremy, don't let Jeff and Tara know about this.
Oh man, I wonder if I don't know if my parents are gonna listen to this. They listened to the first episode.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we dropped the first 8 all in like the same day, so we're just kind of like sitting around twiddling our thumbs, trying to like expecting fame to happen right now.
Yeah. Well, we put in the work, so we're
put in the work. Fuck Spider-Man, put in the work.
We're supposed to be famous now.
Yeah.
We released media. That's what happens.
I did. I released media too.
I released a medium bowel movement today.
It sure did. But you just have a fantastic toilet, and I gotta congratulate you on that. It's got great water pressure.
Great ass feel.
Great ass feel. Yes. Yes. Oh, my ass felt like fucking royalty on that thing.
Oh Jesus!
It thanked me after I was done. It was the validation was appreciated.
Said Tracey, you're so tasty.
No, stop it. Anywho, we were talking about a movie.
Yeah.
I think we've said like all we really need to say on Iron Man.
We've said everything there is to say.
Yeah. Look no further, valued listeners. We said it all.
So Iron Man 2.
Laid it bare. Bare's my ass. In this sweaty chair.
Let's give it one last little run through. So in the scheme of the Marvel universe, what did it bring to the table? It introduced Black Widow.
It did. Okay, yeah. So
which was awesome.
Yeah, I in terms of execution, not amazing, but in terms of like significance to the overarching universe, that it definitely did add a lot to the table. It added Nick Fury being like a more prominent character.
Yeah, because he was not in Hulk at all.
No. It added Black Widow, and it added the Avengers initiative.
That was in the first one, but it talked about it more in this one.
Yeah, okay.
It was in the post-credit scene, but
also, forever will love that scine of him eating donuts in the donut.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Hungover with sunglasses on in the Iron Man suit.
There were a lot of things I liked about it. I liked when he was eating donuts in this.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Charlie was antagonizing Kira, and Kira was about to take the laziest swat at him I've ever seen.
It's her, dude. It's her.
Look at her.
Charlie is a girl.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Charlie. I'm so sorry. I love you, the sweet girl.
She's a lady.
Dude looks like a lady. Damn it. Welcome to the episode where we talk about cats. Actually, let's just talk about cats for a second.
Yeah.
Let's just describe. Oh my god! Okay,
cat too.
But actually, look at Kira right now because she is sprawled out like a fucking queen.
Yeah. On her back, feet in the air.
She looks like she's people. But yeah, in terms of things that brought to the table, it was a very important movie. It furthered.
Muy importante.
Muy importante. Like, comment, subscribe if we're super pretentious this episode. And I thought that Tony and Pepper Potts' relationship definitely not saying like it went farther. It flowered a little bit. Yeah, there was more depth to it. Just her forever being exasperated with him, and then all of a sudden not in the picture anymore, and it made me super sad in Civil War.
Then reveal. She's back.
Yeah, I know she's back. I just don't know to what degree. Is she going to be fighting alongside the Avengers? Does she still have the badass lava powers?
No, I don't think she has the extremis powers.
What? Oh, dude, I would love to see her kicking straight up ass. And
maybe some curvy ass. I don't know. Kicking some curvy ass.
Some curvy ass. Some bootylicious booties.
But
or do you think they're just going to like explain it away like, oh, I found the cure, ha?
I thought that's basically what they did at the end of Iron Man 3.
I thought she still had powers at the end of Iron Man 3.
I think that they were trying to imply that that they cured her. But guess what, guys? We're going to do a rewatch, and we'll let you know how it goes.
Potentially tonight, potentially not, because I also really want to play video games with him. That's right, ladies. I got them all to myself. Back off. I will scratch your eyes out.
Good thing he trims his fingernails.
Yeah, they're very trim right now. Except my index fingernail I use for... it's my Coke finger. No, I use it for... I use it for... oh, God, I'm going to... Here, if I could sound like any more of a pretentious douchebag, I use it as my guitar strumming finger, because I hate using picks, because they don't feel natural. And I just have a gross Coke nail as my right index fingernail for my strumming. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
So anyway, I think
Pepper Potts is definitely still a lava chick badass, and I want her to just be kicking shit. Although, did you see they did a featurette? They released an Infinity Wars featurette called Family, and it's just like showing how incredible it is that most of the Marvel Avengers and Guardians casts are like real tight with each other. Like, they're all, like, actual friends.
Yeah, that's not a marketing campaign at all.
No, they're all best friends, and they live a house together.
They live in a house together.
And Rocket has his own house. I'm not going to say a dog house, but he have, like, something in a tree.
What is Bradley Cooper, like, dressed as a furry?
He's not even, like, the same species. He's dressed up, like, as a plush dog or something. Here we are, a bunch of jackasses standing in a cycle. I did... When somebody first pitched the idea of that movie to me... when somebody pitched the movie idea to me, it's like, all right, so Chris Pratt, and I'm like, the guy from Parks and Rec, like, yeah, so he's gonna be the main character, see, and he's gonna be an outlaw, and I'm like, okay, and then we're gonna get this girl that you've never heard of, and she's gonna be green, and she's gonna be a space green ninja lady, and I'm like, okay. And then we're gonna get Vin Diesel, and he's gonna play a giant tree, and he's only gonna have one line. And I'm like, that's about his acting potential. Go on. I'm sorry, Vin Diesel. Vin. Too fast, too furious for me, man. I'm sorry. And then we're gonna get Bradley Cooper, and Bradley Cooper's gonna be a CGI raccoon, and I'm like, okay, is that it? They're like, no, there's more. Last one. We're gonna get Jean Bautista.
Dave Bautista.
Dave, that's the one. Who's John Bautista? Is that a person?
I don't think so.
Well,
Jean-Baptiste.
Jean-Baptiste, that might be. John Baptista. Well, aren't I the fool? Dave Bautista. We're gonna get Bautista, we're gonna dress him in a giant skin suit, and he's gonna be the funniest character in the movie. And I'm like, alright, I just want to see you try to pull this off. And then it ended up being my favorite Marvel movie. Hands down. It's always going to be Guardians.
It's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there.
Your favorite's Winter Soldier?
I think it's Winter Soldier. I mean, it's so goddamn hard to choose now.
They're close.
It's like
they're close for me, but
it's hard because it's kind of like
how hard is it?
Very firm, man. It's firm.
Floppy but full.
I mean, it's not a rock, but it's it's firmly hard.
I need my man, ladies, and you do too. All men too. Everybody needs a man who's hard as a rock. Fuck. Anyway, I'm sorry.
This is going super well.
We need to keep like a tally in the corner of how many dick jokes we've made.
Penis. There's one more for you.
We're different, you and I. For I have a penis, and you have a vagina. I really want to tally in the corner of how many dick jokes we've made.
In the corner of what?
In the corner. I don't know. Just in the corner. I'm just going to get a bunch of sticky notes.
Over there?
We get sticky notes and we just slap them on top of each other. We just had dicks on the brain all day. I don't know. We just got done watching My Hero Academia. I showed him the first 4 episodes. I think he's a fan. And we just were making lots of dick jokes during that, especially when All Might's trying to get Deku to swallow his hair. And we're like... it's very strange. Anyway, so sorry if you don't watch the show. I'm weeaboo garbage, and I really love My Hero Academia. And you guys should watch it. Just give it a shot. And hopefully I didn't spoil episode 3 for any of you guys.
It's officially spoiled. But guess what? We've been really bad about spoiling shit on this show.
Oh.
From start to finish. Whenever I re-listen, I'm like, oh man, we gave no warning and we just dove right into...
Yeah.
Maybe we should work on that.
We should. Alright, we'll add that to the list.
Okay.
You're keeping a list, right?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I'm sitting on it.
Okay, good. Well, you're so responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I don't lose it.
Yeah. I don't want you... Dude, baby, you're never going to lose it. We've always had...
We're never going to lose that hardness.
There's so much hardness in the room right now. Anyway, I don't know. Have we talked enough about Iron Man 2? Do you have a final thoughts on Iron Man 2?
It's per good. Alright.
Yeah. Thor. Another movie just rewatch.
Yeah, Thor good, yeah.
Yeah, Thor's good, yeah. Another. We're all over the place. This is gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be an interesting podcast to listen back to. Thor. Thor was an excellent movie. It was one of those movies where you rewatch it, and I rewatched it and I appreciate it way more. Didn't appreciate the art direction back in the day. I was kind of... I was watching those movies at a time where like I'd been watching the Batman, the Dark Knight movies, the Dark Knight trilogy. And I was in this mindset, which DC, this is the mindset that DC Cinematic Universe really never
still stuck in,
is that superhero movies need to be dark and brooding, and I need to hate myself in the world, and everything needs to be super duper serial all the time. Do you want to know how I got these scars?
From eating cereal.
From eating cereal.
Really aggressively.
From tearing open too many boxes of cereal with my teeth.
Too many sharp edges on.
You think you can't get a paper cut? You think you can't get a paper cut from cardboard? You'd be wrong. And then so.
But yeah, with the art direction, I thought that everything looked good. I think really probably my biggest complaint about the movie is not that big in the scheme of things, but I wish Asgard felt like a living, breathing city.
Yeah.
In the movie, you feel like there's the palace, which you never see him go in. I still don't know what the front door looks like to this day. And it's the palace and
those weird rotating...
the Bifrost, that's it.
Those weird rotating floaty things that just kind of like spin around each other.
Yeah.
Off to the side. Yeah, no, it's aesthetically super pleasing, does not feel... Yeah, that movie did a bad job making Asgard feel lived in. I was half and half on that movie when I was younger because only half of it took place in a world that I knew and understood. I was not down with the sci-fi fantasy aspect of Asgard existing. And it just kind of... That took me out of it. Like, oh, yeah, these stupid things are fighting frost giants. That's stupid. Bring it back to the real world where people shoot.
Bring it back to New Mexico.
Bring it back to New Mexico. I want to see tumbleweed again. And they... I don't know. And exactly. It was a very kind of like... the Asgard itself was... very, I don't know, wooden?
Yeah, it felt like they literally carved a model city out of gold and
yeah, like it
they just didn't CGI anybody in.
It's a house, not a home. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's it looks really pretty, but you knock on the door and nobody's home. Cause I definitely feel that. Like they had the
take a dump on their front doorstep,
light it on fire. So like they son of a bitch. Gotta get away from we gotta get away from like the potty humor. We got the potty humor.
No, I think people have come to expect this from us.
Yeah. I respect our viewers' intelligence. I'm going to bring it back to a mature and refined place.
Your bare ass. Your bare ass on the chair.
I was going to I say that and I just rip a really wet fart. Anyway. But yeah, there's like a bunch of throne room scenes and stuff like that. And then there's like the bedchamber where Odin's like, oh, I'm gonna fall asleep now. And Loki screams for guards and puts him away. And yeah,
we're good at synopsisizing.
Actually, could you explain? So I didn't remember that Loki. I forgot the fact that Loki was a frost giant. Hello. I know, right? And. Yeah, so like there was like that really. I'm so sorry, dude. I'll stop. It's just it's a nervous foot thing.
Yeah, Tracey's playing footsie with my desk. My desk is starting to get uncomfortable.
I'm using my big toe to gently open and close one of his drawers, and it's irking him. And I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna start doing it again in 15 minutes. I will forget that we had this conversation. And then
just have to stop this podcast before 15 minutes is up.
Nah.
So yeah. Well,
let's break it down. I know, dude, I was doing it earlier, too, and I caught myself doing it. I was like, so, let's dish. But,
So, Odin is at war with the Frost Giants, who are attempting to take over Midgard, a.k.a. Earth.
EARF, Earth.
They're cold Earthers, not flat Earthers.
Earth. Happy Earth Day. Should I let Tomas?
Yeah, let's let
Tomas. Alright, I'm gonna narrate Max standing up, bare ass, displayed for all the apartment to see.
I'm spreading my cheek. Manually.
Please. my heart can't take much more. I'm gonna complete. Tomas is hungry. What is this, his third can of Fancy Feast today?
It's his third can of Fancy Feast in the past couple hours.
What?
Charlie's like, where's mine?
Will he just keep whining unless you give it to him?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's just easier to let him be obese.
He's so not obese.
I know.
He's like, he's unhealthily skinny.
He is. Tomas is a very scraggly looking little tomcat. A very beautiful orange and white tomcat, but he looks a little. He's seen better days.
Has anyone ever seen Aristocats?
Aristocats, yeah.
He looks like O'Malley the alley cat. Like if he never moved into the mansion in like 50 years, he's just like this mangled, mangy old cat.
Tomas does not look like he's in amazing shape right now. But. Everybody wants to be a cat. Everybody wants to be a cat.
All my cats are surrounding me, looking at me. I wish this was a joke, but all three of my cats are kind of staring at me watching.
How can you neglect our listeners at a time like this?
So, Thor?
I'm addressing Tomas. Thor? Thor,
is that you?
Thor, you're very hairy. The action scenes.
We never really explained the adoption of Loki.
Whatever, action scenes. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're right. Please expound.
So Odin defeated Laufey and the Frost Giants.
Laufey.
Hey, Laufey. And then took in Loki as an adopted son, so that Thor.
This is my brother Thor.
My brother Thor.
My brother Thor. And Wilhelm.
And with the intent that they would grow up together and unite the two realms.
Yeah.
And no.
Yeah.
Ja.
Ja.
Ja, das ist. Das ist das Story.
Das ist gut. Ich weiß nicht. Du bist ein Dummkopf. Ist ein Dummkopf, listeners.
Alright, let's be nice.
I told him you have a dumb head.
Yeah, let's be nice.
No.
So, yeah, that was an important thing I just said.
It was.
I'm glad we stopped and went back 5 times.
So, yeah, no, I just, I didn't understand. I got that, like, rewatching the beginning, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, he adopted him because he saw him lying there, and he was like, oh, poor baby. Maybe they'll take this as, like, a sign of goodwill or something. Is that really the reason he took it?
Well, it wasn't a sign of goodwill. It was kind of like, back in the Middle Ages, warring kingdoms would, the winner of a war between warring kingdoms would take the children of the king of the losing kingdom and be like, hey, we got your kids. If you do anything bad, we're gonna kill them.
Oh.
So
Always
that's
good.
a thing.
Always good.
Yeah, so that's basically what it was. But Odin puts a little spin on it. Like, I wanted you to be brothers.
Brothers. I love brothers. Hey, what's up, bruv? How you doing, bruv? Anyway,
I'm a brother lover, you're
a brother lover. We should love each other's brothers. I'm pushing it in where you can.
Okay, all right. We're gonna stop right there.
Oh God, freaking Lonely Island. Have you ever seen their video? It's like, I don't know why, but I think today's gonna be a great day, and it's just this dude on cocaine, just like Andy Samberg plays a dude on cocaine that's just like going throughout his day, just getting consistently like more messed up, and he just shows up.
Nope, never seen it. Probably wasn't funny either.
Oh,
let's move on.
Oh no, but you know what was funny? You know what you did chuckle at was Dr. Tran.
Yes, Dr. Tran he's an amazing person. I look up to Dr. Tran.
I do too. He's trantastic, and I just want
transcendent.
I'm transsexual. But like just all the stuff he shows up in. He's fantastic. He has his own line of toys. He has a PhD in kicking your ass. But yeah, guys, go on Mondo Media, Lone Sausage Productions, Dr. Tran. It's the internet classic, instant classic, 100% ice.
If you can remember all that stuff.
100% ice, guarantee. Ice for nice people who like it. Seen those videos too many times. Anyway, but I will say, yeah, okay, so the one thing I was totally sold on in that movie was the action scenes. The cool things that he could do with his
Mjolnir.
With Mjolnir. With his hammer. With his hammer. And yeah, the way that they use it, the way they use the physics of it, the way they use like the way that it returns to his hand afterward as like a combat element, which is super cool. Spinning it at high speed, blasting rock into people, loved it.
That could have gone so poorly.
Yeah,
spinning a hammer and flying, but it ended up looking really cool.
Well, just because
fighting with the hammer looked really cool. Like
Chris Hemsworth is handsome as hell.
He has gotten progressively more handsome in each Thor movie. He has.
I think all the characters have gotten progressively more handsome. Mostly Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau is the only one who's gotten less attractive per movie.
Actually, it did strike me. I'm like, man, he looks good in Iron Man 2, and because he Yeah, he looks he's a little more world weary.
He's gonna put a little weight on. He looks like a dad.
I love you. There was like too much passion in that.
Yes, there was.
John Favreau, you're fantastic. We're not shaming you in any way.
No.
We understand what kind of life you have. We live it ourselves, man. We're
big fat fatties.
No, shut up. We're into making original content.
Yeah.
Mixed media.
This multimedia.
Give him the pillow. You're gonna have an actual. We'll give it back. I like hugging. Give me back my pillow. It's. I like having it here.
Oh God. Summer part of that might need to come out.
Yep. Stop touching my dick.
So little focus.
Stop touching my dick.
Are you talking to the pillow?
Stop touching my dick. Yeah. The pillow's name is Travis. It's like Tracey, but it's Travis.
Travis is definitely a pedophile name.
Oh. No.
A diddler. It's the name of a diddler.
Diddle kid. God damn it.
Travis P. Diddler.
Travis P. No. The country is being held captive by the Riddler. No, it's not. It's the Diddler.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Coming back to it. Okay. And the action scenes were really well choreographed, and
the humor was pretty solid.
It really was, especially once he came to Midgard.
Yeah.
Especially once he started hanging out with all us normies.
Drunk Eric Selvig is awesome.
Drunk Eric Selvig is amazing, and Thor asking for more coffee by smashing the cup on the ground is well.
What does he say? Delightful? No. What does he say?
Another.
No. What does he say? He said, "This is good."
Yes, this is good. This pleases me. Another smash. Can we? It's super wasteful, and I'd feel bad, but I kind of want that to be a thing. Where
we smash glasses on our podcast?
Yes.
Well,
no, I was thinking mostly when we went to restaurants.
We'd get kicked out very quickly.
No, we need to find one where it's tradition. Another!
We're going to find a restaurant somewhere in the world where it's tradition to smash their
property, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let me know when you find that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the boss battle was a little bit underwhelming. I mean, I would have liked a little more Loki. And the weird thing is the boss battle was like pre-climax. It was kind of like a premature climax. And then
yeah, with the Guardian thing.
Yeah, with the Destroyer. And then they go to Asgard and there's like a whole nother fight scene. There's the Frost. I honestly completely forgot about the second ending to the movie.
I did too. I really only remembered the Destroyer attacking.
Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, for flow of the storytelling, everything went super, super smoothly. And then after the Destroyer comes and Thor defeats it, and I really totally loved how he ends up dying and gets the hammer. That whole thing was cheesy, but I loved it.
Yeah. And
it should have. I mean, obviously he had to go back and deal with Loki, but it just like for the movie that we watched, for the movie that they made, that should have been the climax. It just, what came after just didn't feel like, it felt like it's weird. If you make the hero overcome his major obstacle before the actual climax, it's like there's no stakes, you know? It's kind of like the major stakes to a God story is that he loses his power. So as soon as he gets it back, it's just like there's no.
Yeah, I mean they definitely did it to showcase Loki as a major player, and then to show his where his weird daddy issues and sense of entitlement come from, and inferiority complex. So I think it was a lot more like building up. I mean, I guess I think there's definitely a way that it could have been done more gracefully, but it was a way of preparing Loki for for like a more major stage, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like they could have done that entire thing in like a 6-minute scene where they go to Asgard, they get him, and then he escapes.
Yeah, I agree. It's really weird to think like that really does feel like the end of the movie when he defeats the Destroyer, but there's like a half hour after that.
Yeah, it's pretty long after. I mean, I don't even know how long the whole movie is total, but it doesn't feel right.
He defeats the Destroyer at like I think at the minute marker was like 90 minutes, so it was an hour and a half mark, and that movie is definitely at least
probably another 20 minutes.
Yeah, so probably another 20 minutes after that.
It felt weird. So let's.
We could do better, you and I.
We already have.
Yeah.
We've actually made a better Thor movie.
It's called the NC Street Speakeasy. What is this, episode 9? 8? 9?
Yeah.
9, yeah.
9.
Sí. 10.
Y...
Ocho, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Tracey is also 13 in Spanish. Da-da-da. Anyway.
So, let's jump to Cap, the first Avenger.
Nah.
No?
Nah, definitely not the first Avenger.
Okay, let's go backwards in time. Let's go back to Iron Man 2.
I still love Captain America.
You know what? Before we jump into that, we should do another little quick, like, what did Thor bring to the greater Marvel universe, Cinematic Universe?
It talked about, it introduced the Tesseract.
Well, no, in that one, actually, it was...
Actually.
It was not the Tesseract. It was, I forget what they call it, but it's it's a possession of the Frost Giants. It doesn't have the ability to teleport you. It basically makes things icy. Breaks the ice.
As one does.
So it was a different artifact, and I think that there have been a lot of people saying that was a really dumb thing. Like, why make the whole movie about Thor with a completely different blue cubic object than...
That's just confusing.
Yeah,
obviously, because I got confused by it.
Well, I definitely did too. I thought it was one and the same, and then I rewatched it. I've seen all these movies so many times. I don't remember the exact point at which I realized they were two different items, but they definitely are.
I realized it 10 seconds ago. So there.
But it introduced... Well, it introduced other realms. It introduced cosmic. There was no cosmic before that.
Yeah, definitely.
It introduced, like, magic.
Yeah. It did shut up. It did both of these things a little shakily, but also they had to like focus the two into like the two concepts into one movie. Guardians and Doctor Strange definitely had an entire movie to kind of focus the magic stuff and the space stuff. I thought both of them did a better job at like making it relevant and believable.
Well, I think that's the thing is that if Thor really laid the groundwork, because Guardians said, hey, here's a cosmic universe, and Doctor Strange said, hey, here's a magic universe, but because Thor is so much both, it's really hard to be like, hey, here's a cosmic magic character who's gonna have an adventure on Earth, because it won't make any sense if he goes somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of stuck trying to make a movie that would properly lead up to the Avengers with Thor. Yeah. And in many ways, I thought they did a pretty good job. So So
it was cool how Guardians was able to do that and then also keep it off Earth, except for the very beginning. It's like,
well, yeah,
that's your landline. Is Peter Quill's your landline? Is like he's from Earth, so he makes Ninja Turtle and 80s music reference, and that's really cool of him.
Well, Thor could have kept it off Earth too, but the problem is that the whole idea they were leading to the Avengers.
Yeah,
and so he had to meet some of these other characters. He had to meet Phil Coulson. He had to meet. I don't know if he ever officially met Nick Fury, but he had to be aware of these other characters. He had to meet Selvig. He had to meet people that made him care about Earth for some reason, you know?
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. So they could have probably made a really cool cosmic movie about Thor, but they had no choice but to bring him to Earth.
Earth.
Arf?
Barf, barf. High quality humor. Fresh out of the can. Farm made, everyday, organic. All right. Yeah. So definitely introducing Magic Cosmic Universe. All props to Thor for that. Great job. Introducing Loki as a primary.
Good job, Kenneth Branagh.
You're beautiful. Introducing Loki.
You're a pretty guy.
You're pretty. You're a handsome fella. And introducing Loki as like a primary antagonist, and then showing him exerting his
casting for Tom Hiddleston. Good job.
So good. Him influencing the professor right at the end, being in the thing. It was like, we just might have to look into this.
Yeah. Yep. That was a good job.
Yep, that was a good job. So yeah, I guess he's been under his control for a real long time.
I don't think that. I think that I don't think Eric Selvig was under Loki's control.
And Loki had latched onto him like a malevolent spirit.
Yeah, I kind of just feel like Loki's there.
He's low-key there.
Hate you. I think that the idea is that they weren't. This is the thing that Marvel fans do. They take a scene and they like dissect it. Oh, he was under his control this whole time, and it's just like it's more subtle. They're just trying to allude to the fact that Loki's involved. It's like
I'm feeling a little slighted right now. I feel a little upset that you called me out just now. I don't like to dissect scenes. Just cut them open a little.
I want to see what's in there.
I want to see what's inside. What color are you on the inside? I started watching because I lived in Miami for so long. People kept encouraging me to watch Dexter, and I finally started watching Dexter. And now I'm a psychopath. Brat knives, coming for you.
I was wondering why my whole apartment is filled with plastic wrap.
Studio.
Oh, nice callback.
Hey,
good job.
This guy. Oh, Phil Collins. Phil. Coulson. Brought it full circle. I did.
You said a name. Good job.
I did it. It was a relevant name. Phil Coulson was truly the one character that did glue everything together.
Yeah, because he was in Iron Man.
Of them. Yeah, he was in the original Iron Man.
He was even in Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah, like right
in the beginning.
Right for a hot second. Yeah.
He was.
I watched you while you slept. I was there I was present while you were unconscious.
That was a great line. But
should I let Tomas in?
I guess.
He's gonna get a fourth.
He's losing his shit at the door right now.
We're out. Oh, that's right. He comes straight to the dish. Dude, don't give him a fourth. He's skinny, but that's too much, dude.
No, he's fine. He's really fine. Trust me. He has feline AIDS, so he definitely needs the nourishment.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, for real.
Oh no, Tomas. Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, it's not a joke. He actually is good.
AIDS is not a joke.
Immunodeficiency.
Autoimmunodeficiency something syndrome. AIDS talk. Now it's time for superhero talk. Sterling transition as usual. So he was. I thought his presence was like most needed and most grounding in Thor when he showed up, and he was like one of the members that was like containing the hammer.
Yeah, I thought S.H.I.E.L.D. was really well used through pretty much every movie.
Yeah, they brought them in, like, it made sense. Like, everywhere they showed up, it was like, oh, yeah.
I didn't feel like any introduction was un-S.H.I.E.L.D.-like. I didn't feel like it was cheesy. I mean, it's a little cheesy, but it's fun cheesy. It's not, like, it's not groan-worthy.
Right before the S.H.I.E.L.D. did show up to kind of commandeer the hammer or situation, I did love all of the people sitting around. That's where the Stan Lee cameo was him in the truck. Trying all the local competition to see who could pull the hammer out of the rock, sword and stone. Do you think that was intentional imagery?
Yes, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
I said a smart thing. Max approved.
Good job, Tracey.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe next time I'll actually let you be on the podcast instead of just telling you that you are and letting you talk to Eric.
You're just like, I just imagine like me getting that right and you just reaching in your pocket and pulling out a little gold star sticker and sticking it on my forehead.
Would you like a lollipop?
I would like a lollipop. Thank you. All right. He actually handed me a dum-dum. This is great.
Am I going to talk through hard candy for the rest of the episode?
I'm going to talk through hard candy for the rest of the thing. Hi, Tomas. I have to edit a lot of this.
Yeah, probably. It's getting a little sloppy. Okay, so let's do Captain America, the First Avenger, before it's midnight.
I agree.
First Avenger. Good intro, finding him trapped in ice. Mm-hmm. They didn't actually show his body. Thought it was really cool.
Yeah, they did a great job introducing Steve Rogers, like scrawny Steve Rogers.
Scrawny Steve Rogers is one of my favorite things in the whole MCU.
Yeah.
I just like the guy so much. I want to like give him a little hug and pat him on the head.
Send him on his way. He's like, you keep being you.
Good job, buddy.
You did it. He's
I actually like him less when he's all big and self-fucking-righteous.
It's like, I have the will of America and I will exert it.
Just kidding, but I really do love Skinny Steve. I really like Bucky's relationship with him. I did.
Well, I think it's easier to be, like, that's why I think it's so important that they picked him, because it's when you're a big dude like that, it's easy to be self-righteous and heroic and all that. When you don't have that kind of power, like he was way more. I don't know if he's relatable, because he's hard to relate to because he's such a perfect individual.
But it's like it's kind of like they let you go along for the ride because he's completely scrawny and hard-headed. Yes. So at first it's kind of like, you're imperfect because you're not perfect, but you're also imperfect because you're not complying with your imperfections. Like, he's got a double whammy. I don't know if that really made sense, but... No,
I get you. Like,
he's small, and he doesn't have that perfect stature, but he's also...
Small people should be submissive.
Exactly, but he doesn't do that either. So he's very much not... He's not perfect, pretty, whatever. He's right. Like, he's a guy that everybody can relate to. He's the kind of guy that you want to be. And I think that's one of their greatest accomplishments with the character. I don't think that we could have Captain America, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War. We wouldn't have these characters. We wouldn't have these movies being as popular and well done as they are if we didn't have a skinny Steve Rogers that everyone became attached to. Yeah. Like, you can't just put Steve Rogers full buff in a movie and have him act like that because no one will relate to it.
That's I remember getting almost militantly angry at Tony Stark when he throws the insult, when they're throwing insults back and forth, the helicarrier and the Avengers, and he says, everything special about you came out of a bottle, and I'm like, no, you take that back, he's amazing. Like, skinny Steve Rogers, man, skinny Steve Rogers for the win. He is an amazing person, no matter how many times he gets beaten down, no matter how cruel the world is to him. Like, he should have a shitty outlook on life, but he doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what all allows us to like him for who he is.
Diving on the grenade.
Yeah, diving on the grenade.
Like, that still brings, like...
So much excellent casting.
That's still...
So much,
oh my God.
So much chemistry. So much chemistry between Chris Evans and Haley Atwell.
Yeah.
So much chemistry between Haley Atwell and oh shit, what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones. So much chemistry between Steve Rogers and Howard Stark.
Yeah.
So much chemistry between... Actually, weirdly, a lot of chemistry between the guy who played Arnim Zola and...
Schmidt.
Johann Schmidt, yeah. Who plays him?
Red Skull. I don't know his...
I hate that I can't remember.
He was in 30 Days of Night. He played...
He was in The Matrix. He was in The Lord of the Rings.
No. Yeah, he was. I'm kidding. I just wanted to disagree with you.
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. Yeah, that's right.
But good chemistry between him and Arnim Zola. I mean, just good chemistry between Steve and Bucky. Good chemistry when it's skinny Steve. Good chemistry when it's buff Steve. Like, it was just a well-directed movie. Good casting. Good. I mean, the whole. I love the patriotic montage.
Where he's just like a show boy.
Yeah, the Star Spangled Man with the plan. I love that. It's so good. It gives him the basis for the uniform. It's just, I love when he first throws on the leather jacket and takes the motorcycle. Like, it's so good, man. It's just, so much of that movie was really, really fucking great.
Yeah. I didn't know the plot hole until you pointed it out to me, where Bucky falls, but it's Zola the one that recovers him.
In the first Avenger, Bucky falls off the train.
Yeah. And
they immediately capture Arnim Zola.
Yeah. So he had no opportunity to actually save.
But in Bucky. In Civil War, when they show, God damn. In Civil War, when they show Bucky being rescued from his fall where he lost an arm, it's Arnim Zola who gets him. So that's a very clear plot hole. Sure.
Yeah, I had no idea that plot hole existed. I guess I hadn't rewatched the first one. I hadn't realized that it actually took me a little while to realize that Zola was the computer in Cap 2.
Thank you.
Yep. You the Star Spangled Man with a plan. I think I am. Starting to see stars. Just kidding. Oh God.
But I thought Red Skull was okay.
Do you think he's coming back?
I think they'll bring him back.
He's
I think
he is a solid villain, even though we didn't get to see Like we had the part in the beginning where he took the Tesseract, but other than that, we didn't really get to see him being much of a meanie bobini.
I just thought he was okay. It's just I didn't
like. I like getting myself painted. So the two scenes where he's like supposedly like the super bad guy, besides like the fact that he is a Nazi.
Well, you know,
like
he's
that's reason enough.
You can see, you get the idea of the character. It's not like when you watch the first Avenger, you don't understand what Red Skull is all about. But he's not transcendent. Like you don't remember him.
Transcendent. I like that word.
Well, you don't. I mean,
no, I agree. I just like that word.
There's a lot of villains that are definitely not transcendent in the Marvel tranny universe.
I mean, the Marvel tranny universe.
There's definitely a lot of villains that are not transcendent in the MCU, and
well, I think they do that intentional. Like they want the heroes to be the star, and I just think
know, but everybody loves Loki. You know, like he's. Even though he's a unique case, I mean, I understand, but still, the movies that he's in, everybody loves, because the villain has more story, more substance to him than just.
Well, same with a
red skeleton.
You could see some
a lot of bad guy. He's bad because he's a red skeleton.
Yeah, a lot of the other Marvel superheroes are definitely very one-dimensional, and they're like, I want revenge, or I want to destroy the world, and you're like, why? Like, I don't know. As again, comes back to my thing with, like, good villains have motive that you can sort of relate to, you can sort of understand. Villains are just, unless you're, like, making a farce out of them, or you were, like, totally spoofing them or something like that, villains that have aspirations for world domination or destruction of man, destruction of the planet, destruction of the universe, it's tough to find a decent explanation that like people can like get behind, or it's usually just megalomania or psychopath. And you know there's probably some sociopaths and psychopaths out there that just appreciate the hell out of that. That they're being pandered to by Disney, but
I don't think that they're portrayed at all like a real sociopath or psychopath. That's the thing. It's like they're just
like, I just want to kill things. That's their.
I should rule the world because I'm the greatest.
This one guy looked at me wrong while I was in the checkout line at Target, and now I want to kill all people.
It's kind of like the thing in Iron Man 3, which we're going to watch soon. When Aldrich Killian, his backstory for becoming a villain is because Tony Stark told him he was going to hang out with him and then didn't. It's like, I know that you've been embarrassed by a cool kid, but that's not a reason to like become a murderer.
That's definitely like a character trait. Like there are definitely people out there that are like full of hate like that are.
I know, but
that just like they got slighted and they remember that forever. But I guess it doesn't feel strong enough. In that, so like maybe if like Tony murdered his family or something like that.
It's like. If he became a really cold, calculating person, because of that, I would get it. But to become, like...
He's very emotional. Like, he's a very emotional, emotionally driven villain, and it doesn't fit.
If you're gonna just become, like, a complete... The thing is, if you're embarrassed by that, then... A real reaction is not to rampantly murder people.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like if someone accidentally hit you with a baseball and then you took a bat and you hit him in the head and you're like, that's what you get. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, it's overkill. It's like you look at the person and you're like, crime did not fit the punishment, you know? The reaction did not the action did not warrant that reaction at all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I'm thinking of... God, Tony suffered a lot in that movie. Like, he got the crap beat.
Iron Man 3.
In Iron Man 3, like...
I know, we need to step back from Iron Man.
Right.
Iron Man 3, or else we're never gonna... We haven't even gotten to the Avengers yet.
We haven't. Let's finish up on Captain America. Solid freaking movie. The finale was a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
When
they went into the second montage of the movie... one montage in the movie, okay. Two,
where he's like the Star Spangled Man with a plan is into actual Captain America.
Yeah, so it's Star Spangled Man with a plan. Then they have a scene where he's actually becoming captain, where he goes on his first adventure, which is great. And then they go into another montage in which he's acting like Captain America. It's like, I don't know, they lost me kind of there.
I liked the montage. It just made the movie feel... That movie feels longer to me than most others do.
It's weird because I don't really understand how much time is supposed to have passed in that movie.
Yeah.
Because when you play with time like that, I wonder, okay, so from start to finish, did Captain America take a year? Did it take 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Did it take 6 years? Nobody knows. Nobody has
12.
12?
99. He just eats lots of carrots and ages very well.
Well, he ages very well regardless, but...
He did. That was a fake laugh. I'm sorry. That was really obnoxious. But I didn't understand that the Tesseract was an Infinity Stone, so that scene where he picks it up and he gets like zip-zapped into another galaxy... No Cosby references on the show. It's too risky. I mean, he's an evil man. He gets zip-zapped into space, which I didn't really understand.
Well, I think you're not supposed to understand it at the time.
Yeah, well, it's like that happens and people are like, and then again, having not watched that post, like what's going on right now with the Infinity Stones in the Marvel Universe and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I forgot. Like my brain drowned that out because it wasn't important to me at the time. But I watched it again and was like, that did happen.
It did.
And it's significant.
It's significant.
You're significant to me.
This podcast is significant.
It is. We are affecting so many lives right now. Jeremy, you're great. Ray, if you're driving somewhere, I hope you're listening to this. Drive safe. And play video games with me at some point, because I miss you.
Fine, I don't want to play video games with you.
We're playing in like 10 minutes when we're done with this.
You only get one video game friend.
What? No.
Yep.
No, that's not how it works. Love is a renewable resource. I can make as much of it as I want. You
goddamn biologist hippie. Get the fuck out of my house.
No. I'm a hippie. I need a roof over my head. And I've decided that ownership doesn't mean anything. It all should be for us. So this is for me. This place is for me now.
I'm gonna sick my cats on you.
No, they love me. They all love me. They've all sat next to me and on me at some point. And that is a prerequisite of love.
They're probably just farting the whole time. The only reason they come around you.
Oh God, I didn't know cats could fart until I met Charlie. Oh Christ, Charlie's ripped some nasty ones.
Yeah, she's a stinky kitty cat. She's a dirty kitty.
Stop right now. So, Captain America was excellent, solid entry. Not the strongest finish. I felt like with him nosediving into the ice bank, like I feel like he had lots of opportunities to save himself. I didn't feel like him crashing into the ice.
Well, the way they make Captain America seem in the later movies, it's like, why didn't you just jump out of the plane and be okay?
Yeah, because he can, like, fall for, like, a million years and just be like, alright, that was fine.
Yeah, you know, he's a pretty tough dude.
He's one tough dude. Tuff, tough. He's a tough dude.
Alright, so what did Captain America introduce to the larger Marvel universe?
Infinity Stones.
The very first Infinity Stone, although it's never referenced as such.
Nope, it's just the Tesseract.
It's the Tesseract.
It has a Space Stone spoiler.
It introduced, obviously, Captain America. It introduced the ability...
What? The movie Captain America introduced Captain America? It's preposterous. Get out of my house.
It introduced telling stories in different eras.
Yeah. Yeah.
It introduced Howard's... Well, it didn't introduce Howard Stark, but it did connect...
we actually got to meet him.
Yeah, we got to meet him. Played by a different actor.
It opened the opportunity for the fabulous Agent Carter show to happen.
That's also true.
And
I feel like Haley Atwell has never been as attractive as she has been in Captain America movie.
What other movies is she in?
I'm not sure.
She's beautiful.
I think she tends to do TV more than movies.
She's beautiful in all of them.
I'm sure she's beautiful, but like she's particularly striking in Captain America.
She's beautiful.
She purred.
She's beautiful. All across the board. 10 out of 10. Beautiful inside and out.
Haley, call Tracey.
My number
He's all drooly right now.
My number is 555. Hi, you're pretty. .com.org .gov. And Esquire.com. So those are the things that it brought. It also brought Chris Evans' perfect Dorito-shaped body and flawless butt into the universe and into my immediate conscience, into my sexual awakening. Wait,
how old were you when that movie came out?
Yes. Old enough.
Old enough for what?
Yes.
To party.
Old enough to vote. Actually, that's kind of accurate. I think that actually did come out around. No, it came out. A couple years, because I remember graduating high school, and then my friends were like, "We're gonna go see the Avengers in IMAX in theaters," and I was like, "Oh yeah!" So I went to see it in IMAX.
What year did you graduate?
UMax. There's like such a mix of humor and loathing in your eyes right now.
Well, you straight up pointed at me, finger about 3 inches from my face, and you said, "UMax."
IMAX, UMax. We all max.
We are Groot.
Max on, max off. Anyway, and let's just talk about the Avengers before we go too
This is
off.
going to be a 2-hour podcast. You realize that, right?
Oh, is it really?
It is.
Oh, welcome to the jungle. We got lots of games.
We'll get anything you want.
Enough of your frivolities. All right, moving back to the Avengers. Great movie. All right, we'll see you next time on the 80th Street Speakeasy. Oh, wait, like, listen, Joss Whedon, you can't go wrong with that guy, and that...
Except if you're married to him.
Explain.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin your... I don't want to shatter your world.
No, this is spicy. I need to hear it.
He's cheater, pumpkin eater.
Is he?
Big old cheater.
Joss!
Not once, not twice.
3.
Not 3 times.
4 times.
I don't know, probably like 15.
Once,
15,
twice,
20.
3 times a lady.
Probably somewhere in the 20 to 50 times.
Are you shitting me?
Well, I mean, I'm purely speculating. but based on his wife's public statement, it's definitely like in the more than 5 range.
Boy, better stop that.
I know. I like to drop major life-changing news on Tracey mid-podcast.
Yeah. He's like...
Can't go wrong with that guy.
First,
well, let me tell you.
Man, Michael Jackson is my favorite singer.
He's so pure.
He's so pure, okay. But the Avengers was incredible. It brought a bunch of elements together and made them greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
Which was the theme of the movie. But also, in terms of movie quality, it was the most qualityest.
I thought the intro for each character was really solid.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that they did the very first character that they went to after the explosion in the SHIELD facility was Black Widow.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that they were like, okay, we're going to do Avengers, so let's start with Black Widow. Instead of, let's start with Iron Man and then Black Widow will show up.
Yep.
You know? I thought that was cool.
Yeah, they get the...
Oh, I forgot something.
What's up?
When we did our What Did Thor Bring to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
That's right, he was in that facility.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
One of the OG Avengers.
I love Hawkeye. Like, he's like the cool uncle of the group, and he keeps everybody together. He keeps people grounded.
Yeah, because he shoots arrows through their feet and they're stuck to the ground.
I do love that. I love that line in the second Avengers movie. He's like, we're in a city floating in the sky. Robots attacking us. I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. But I'm gonna go back out there and shoot some more robots. That was quote for quote. Thank you. Good job, Max. Actually, it looks like Max actually wanted a high five on that one, so I self-fived myself, so I think I depart.
No. You lost your chance. I was ready to high five, and you just blew me off. You can sit there all fucking night if you want to. Hand in the air.
Babe.
Nope.
Babe, please. My shoulder's tired.
Not gonna happen.
If I moan enough, will you do it?
Depends on how annoying it is.
If I'm just like, I just see her the rest of the podcast, like, that did not look good on the feed.
No.
Alright, whatever. He doesn't know what he's missing out on. I have the
most sweatiest palms.
Yes.
Because you've been holding your ass.
Also, yes. Can we just talk about the Avengers and then end this? We need to end our listeners' misery.
This is going to be a long podcast.
It'll be a very long one. I've never seen the number.
Very long, hard one.
Very long. I've never seen the number get that big.
Well, there's a reason for that, sir.
Does it have to do with the long, hard part of our conversation?
Yes, it's a rating of the long and hardness.
Good. It means it's only growing.
That's right. It's only getting longer and it's only getting harder.
Oh, fuck, dude.
All right, sorry for our slight time delay there. So we'll just pretend that it's we didn't ever stop talking, and
things got too long and too hard, and so we came back on a different day.
Yep, too long, too hard, and just broke us.
Yeah, it was becoming too sloppy a podcast, so we came back a little bit later. But we want to get you guys our quick opinion of the Avengers.
Yeah, we want to hit the Avengers long and hard.
Well,
all right,
here we are.
So, the Avengers did, I guess, they did a nice job of rounding all the characters together. I think that's been said by us and many others. Mm-hmm. It captured something that was not necessarily easy to do. I think one of the reasons that it was successful is really because they took the time to introduce you to each character previously in different movies. And also, not just in different movies, but in different styles as well. So, like, each different movie had its own clear style, so you could see how that person lived. It made it feel like there weren't one of the things that tends to happen sometimes with an ensemble cast is that they're a group of characters living different parts of the same life, and it's a hard thing to avoid because it's one person usually telling the story. So, or one author or one director, and by having all these different characters come from different writers, different directors, and with their own standalone films, they had time to breathe as their own character. So when they came together, you could see where this character's world clashed with this character's world.
Yeah, the movies, by being written by different people, they had distinct styles, and they meshed very well when they finally came together. I think, it would have been a nightmare trying to introduce all the characters at once. Like it wouldn't
AKA Justice League.
It definitely wouldn't have been as interesting, as satisfying. We wouldn't have cared about them as much. We had already had plenty of time to know and understand each character on an individual basis. And then it also benefited from the building anticipation of each coming fit. Like over the course of a 2.5 hour movie, a little like the anticipation can build because you're like, oh, what's the finale going to be like? What are the reveals going to be like? But it just doesn't compare to that grueling year-long wait in between franchise films.
Yes, exactly, and I liked how they introduced each different character in the movie quite a bit. I don't think there really was any character that I felt was not done justice.
Yeah, and I wasn't as like intimately familiar with the goings on with the directing and the handling of the different movies, but from what I felt like, and from the fanboys that I was talking to around the time that I found out that I started figuring out, like, oh, an Avengers movie might be coming, it seemed like a little bit of a pie in the sky, sort of like partly unattainable thing, because even though all these moving parts were starting to coalesce, even though there were consistencies across each of the individual films, like Coulson's appearances and Nick Fury's appearances, and the repeated mention of the Avengers initiative, it still didn't quite feel real.
I think that a lot of people had heard of the Avengers at some point in their life. They weren't really aware of exactly what those characters were. The X-Men were much more well-known in terms of a superhero team. And the Justice League as well.
For sure.
I would say in the...
Boy, has that changed.
Yeah, right. I think that part of that is due to the success of the DC animated stuff that they've done in from the 90s to the early 2000s. But
which I would love to sit down and show you some of my faves. I just and the Avengers were just they were wildly they were wildly popular for people that were for fanboys, obviously.
Yes, exactly.
They were definitely not as mainstream.
And those who did know about them, I think, even though they knew the movie was coming, there was a lot of fanboys excited. But I think also that a lot of people knew the movie was coming, but didn't think it was going to be successful. They thought it was going to tank. They thought it would be bad. They thought, whatever. So I think that even though people knew Avengers was coming from about 4 years before its release, there was a lot of speculation that it might not make it. It might not be successful.
That's what I was getting to. I kept hearing there was a lot of will we, won't we, leading up to it, and I had a lot of friends that were very convinced that it was it was just something that had been posited and then it was just going to crumble later on because it would crumble under its own ambition or crumble under like indecision or lack of cooperation between the different groups and the different operating bodies and entities.
Yeah, and I was not obviously nearly as up to date on all the rights issues as I am now,
right.
But I think that there was a lot of speculation because Iron Man was very successful, unexpectedly successful. Even those that made the film probably had no expectation that it was going to be as popular and as successful as it was. But then only a month later, they came out with The Incredible Hulk, which, by all accounts, was much less successful. I mean, it did rule the box office in its opening weekend, but it didn't have the same kind of run. It didn't have the same kind of critical acclaim.
Right.
And behind the scenes, especially nowadays, we know that there was a lot of struggle. That I think. What's his name? The guy that played Bruce Banner.
Edward Norton?
Yeah. I think that Ed Norton he was probably only vaguely aware that they were going to try and make this greater cinematic universe, and to him, he was more concerned with putting out a good film, like a more art house style film, than a blockbuster film.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when it had finished, there was some clash in terms of the style that they wanted to develop across all the different films. That
film, I can feel that now that the film definitely had some identity issues.
I think that it had some identity issues. If it had gone 100% one way or 100% the other, it probably would have been fine. And even if it was a standalone film, it would probably be considered better than it is, because now it's inevitably compared to all the other MCU films.
Yep. I still really like that movie. It's definitely really so much better than the Ang Lee Hulk.
So let's try and talk about the Avengers specifically a little bit.
Yes.
So I really liked all the intros of the characters. I liked that there wasn't I liked that they didn't jam everything into the beginning, you know? I liked that they took their time to introduce the characters. I mean, Thor isn't even brought in until... I mean, they briefly mention him, but he's not actually phically on screen.
No, they created reasons for all of them, like, all of them being there. Like, Tony's just trying to live his life, then Coulson busts in. Obviously, Steve Rogers and Black Widow never really... left from under Shield's thumb, so they were both those two and Hawkeye were always on standby.
Right. Well, Cap had done pretty much nothing since he woke up.
Hit a punching bag.
Yeah. At that point, he's just trying to adjust to modern life, and I think that a lot of people wanted more modern day Steve in the first Avenger, and now looking back, it might have made that movie a little bit better.
It would have been, but I think it would have made it a little too cluttered, because we were discussing, it already had the origin story two montages of his activities.
Well, they could have structured it a number of different ways, but based on the way that they structured it, I thought that putting pretty much the entire movie in the 1940s was better, especially for the Avengers, because you get to have Steve Rogers as a character who's just trying to deal with being in the 21st century.
Some of the best dialogue and gags in the movie have come from him not knowing the modern pop culture references and stuff like that. It's flying monkeys. I got that reference.
Yeah.
It killed me.
I know that.
Yeah. Or even Yeah, and again, I think we already mentioned it. I think that Black Widow being introduced first after the opening credits and everything.
Yeah. It made her very much not feel like a secondary character, which would be very easy in a film where she's not powered to the same degree that four of the others are.
She's so cool. I am. I think we've discussed this all at some point with each. I don't know if it's on the podcast or with each other. Just the deficit of female characters in the superhero movies, and like they're not just as somebody's love interest, not just as somebody's sidekick, not just as a second as an afterthought. I thought she did it. She was a great fan service. I feel like that's all she was fan service in Iron Man 2. And she definitely made an impression.
Yeah, I would say that she was a little bit more than fan service, but she was not even remotely close to an equally important character as Tony Stark.
Not the
or James Rhodes or Rhodey.
Yeah, not the really the much more fleshed out character that she became in the through the Avengers movies. And like you were saying, like the old Marvel regime wouldn't have had like the more diverse group of superheroes, because she deserved her own movie far before that. And I think people are finally starting to realize with like movies like Black Panther and Wonder Woman coming out that that's what people are craving. That's what people are demanding now, and that's awesome.
And movies with the classic white male lead are still successful, but they're not the only things that are successful.
Yeah, no, exactly, and to have like a female character that's also not just defined by her ability to kick ass, which is always a bonus. Mm-hmm. Like seeing some of her fight scenes are some of the most impressive to me. Just her physical prowess, but like. It's fine. It's all fine and dandy to have an ass kicking woman, but just like to make that her only character trait, and just and not in. It feels like the character development is lacking a little bit more with the females in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is still a bit of a boys' club, although that paradigm is shifting.
You know, it's funny. I'm really glad that they made her an important character in both Winter Soldier and Civil War. Jumping ahead a little bit, because I didn't think that. I liked her in the Avengers. I thought she was okay in Age of Ultron, but I think they by far did the character the most justice in the two Captain America movies. They gave her emotional weight. They gave her emotional strength. You know, she's not just a character who's there to accomplish something. You know, she's the one character who really has the change of heart. You know? She's the character who agrees with Tony Stark and then changes sides to Steve Rogers. And that doesn't make her wishy-washy. It makes her like...
It's growth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because you have two characters who are very strong-willed on either side of that debate in Civil War, giving a smart and thoughtful character growth from one side to the other kind of helps the viewer feel like it's not just two egos going at it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely, and like she does it and she switches sides because that's what she believes in her heart, because it's definitely Steve Rogers' side, and that never really does feel like the winning side. Yeah. Like for sure. Like they definitely which I think is kind of true to life, too. You know, I think that it was really smart of them to do that. I mean, I know they were setting up Infinity War, but I mean, you know, a lot of times, Big Brother, they get the win, you know what I mean? They end up having the final say, and even if you don't agree, you know, you either have to eat it or, you know, or deal with it, or, you know. Yeah. Regardless,
or expatriate.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's bringing it back to Avengers. Really excited for her Black Widow solo movie. It's about freaking time. I've heard that about 63 or 64 directors have looked over the script, so it sounds like Marvel and Disney are taking their time and trying to do that movie right, which I'm very happy about, because that's the same thing that happened with the Wonder Woman script. They wanted to find somebody that was going to fine-tune and do
I would
justice.
love for the Russo brothers to do the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. If they're not going to do any more Captain America movies, it would be awesome if they did Black Widow.
For real.
I think they could do it justice, because I think that they've done the best with her character in the movie so far.
Justice. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, and then just introducing each character in the Avengers, the ensemble cast, like them all doing their own thing. Black Widow being an amazing assassin. I actually did like. I know some people are a little bit iffy on the Black Widow Bruce Banner relationship, because it did sort of seem to come out of nowhere, but it and also they when you think back,
they started setting it up in Avengers the first.
Yeah,
one.
well that's why they had her. Because she asks Nick Fury's like, when you sent me after Bruce the first time the Avengers assembled, did you know like that we would, because obviously they do.
What does he say? He says something like, I don't know anything or something. What does he say?
I can't remember, but yeah, like I mean, like if you do. For some people it was a little bit abrupt, the relationship starting, but it felt like, looking back on it, there's a lot about it that does feel natural.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, because he's the only person in this sort of cinematic universe that she's legitimately afraid of, because even like characters like Thor and Iron Man and Cap, even though they might be more powerful than her, she kind of knows how to play them all.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because she's more than just physically powerful; she's psychologically powerful. So
she's far more experienced than the rest of them.
But yeah, significantly.
Yeah.
And the Hulk is the one person who she can't control and she can't defeat. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's a feeling that no other character can offer her. Yeah. And so whether or not that's healthy, you can definitely see why it would be intriguing to her.
Yeah. I've always been like kind of curious about how to take that, because you don't want a character to be defined by their sexuality or their sex appeal or something like that, but she definitely has found like, should we have more characters that don't embody that, or is embracing your sexuality and using it to your advantage, is that empowering and stuff like that? Because I always
that's a debate for sure. I mean, I think that ideally,
like, I'm not saying either way. I genuinely want to know. If I ever say,
maybe I don't think I'm even going to put an opinion out there on that, because that's very personal.
Yeah, and it's not, and it's definitely not something that I can like have as much of a say in.
For sure.
Or any say in. Yeah, I'm not. This isn't coming from a place of like active ignorance. It's just I would like to have that debate, because I'm very interested.
Yeah. It's something that I think that men in general are not as, experienced with, I mean, like, yes, definitely there are men who are objectified, but it's not on an everyday basis, and it hasn't defined their existence for a large part of
there's a
humanity.
There's a lot that we don't, as men, don't have to worry about, that women have to think about on a daily basis.
Yes, definitely true.
Yeah,
definitely true.
And anyway, we're getting political again.
Yep.
Then Steve Rogers introing tortured past, punching bags off the thing, picking them up with one hand, being a cool guy. And then Iron Man fixing things, making Stark Tower a sustainable beacon for clean energy.
Phil Coulson, being awesome.
No, his first name is Agent. Did you see that in Thor when Agent Coulson introduced himself to Thor? He's like, I'm Agent Coulson, and he's like, it is good to meet you, son of Cole.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like, Thor actually thinks Agent Coulson's first name is Agent.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Yeah, yes, I do. I absolutely love. I love that they threw that little tidbit in there. And I really like Coulson across all the movies. I mean, I didn't relate. I think that a lot of fanboys really strongly related to him. I didn't necessarily feel that in the same way.
Yeah, not
because
at first.
I as nerdy as I've ever been, I think I've never really always had enjoyment, but I've never like I don't know how to describe it, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't think like I think just to put it this way, if a lot of young kids who are really into Marvel Comics went to say a theme park where there was say a guy dressed as Captain America, mm-hmm. they would like get really excited.
Yeah. Like,
to me, I wasn't like that. Like, to me, I wouldn't have been like, oh my god. Like, to me, it was like...
That's a guy in a costume.
Yeah, kinda. So, I loved the characters, but I didn't have that, like, physical giddiness.
It was more
so
like...
I feel like that didn't relate to me. I liked him as a character. I liked what he was in the movie. Yeah. I appreciated it. But I didn't relate to it in the same way I've seen other people.
Yeah, I thought the way that he fanboyed over Steve was adorable.
I thought it was adorable too. Like, I liked it. I'm not saying I didn't.
But for like Coulson, it was more of like a oh my gosh, and for you, it was more like neat.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Not as much of a physical reaction.
Like, I like to think of myself. If I ever met Chris Evans, I wouldn't be like, you know, jittering in my boots. I'd be like, hey, nice to meet you.
Well, that's like I feel like that's with meeting any celebrity. I'm sure that they get sick of the that sort of reaction, like people like losing it, and like I'm sure they just want to be treated like people. So I like to think that if there's certain celebrities where I know I couldn't hold it together, but I like to think if I met some people that I admire, that I would like hold it together and just like actually try to have an intelligent conversation with them. But I can't promise anything.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is, I like Coulson. I thought that his death was weighty.
Yes.
I thought it was.
I was definitely really sad.
I thought that it was
quote unquote death.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know.
Spoilers.
It's fun. I've seen every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so let me put it out there. Every single episode, I have seen. So, know that when I say this.
That you've seen every episode? I'm sorry, continue.
I have a pen in my hand.
I'm going to get stabbed. I'm getting stabbed.
Just that... I do love the show, but I don't really view it as part of the cinematic universe anymore.
Oh.
Like, unless they make a clear-cut... Like, unless they reference the show very clearly in the movies, it just feels like ancillary storytelling, you know?
I think of all of the... I mean, I've only watched, like, 6 or 7 episodes of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and of the Marvel shows that I've seen, particularly with the Netflix ones, they're the ones that seem to reference the show the most. Like, the rest of them are a little more coy about it, like, oh, the attack on New York, and these guys are like, well, and like, at least the episodes that I've watched, the majority of what they're doing is trying to keep Chitauri technology out of people's hands.
Yeah, well, the thing is that both of the shows depend on something that isn't really, like, practical, you know? Like, the Netflix series depend on the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. not doing anything about, like, they call it street level, but a lot of the things that end up happening in the shows kind of would call for intervention by something else. And think S.H.I.E.L.D. is the same way. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of relies on the Avengers not taking action in like pretty serious moments. And at different times they've done an okay job of balancing that, but it just feels like it really does feel to me, even though they're still trying to connect the show and the movies, it feels very much to me like they're not connected at all.
It was like, how is it going to be after Infinity War? Like, how are they going to sustain that? Like,
I really don't know. So in the most recent episode, spoiler alert, give me about 20 seconds, jump ahead 20 seconds in the cast from right now. They reference Thanos in the most recent Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, but I think in the next episode they're going to have to eventually reference what happens in Infinity War.
Yeah, well...
Spoilers. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
I don't know yet.
End of spoiler times. Okay, yeah, I thought Thor's introduction into the Avengers was really cool because everybody already liked Loki, and you can't have Loki without Thor because Thor is going to chase him across the cosmos, obviously, wherever he goes because he's the god of mischief.
Yeah, exactly. Introducing a known character was a very wise decision as the villain, and it was also wise that it wasn't Red Skull coming back, because we had seen Loki just about a year prior, came out in 2011,
right,
and with Thor, and Red Skull had as well, but Red Skull is not notoriously as much of an Avengers villain, whereas Loki has been, and he also was the very first villain in the first Avengers comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it definitely had some fan service in that, and also he was and they could not have possibly known this at the time because they were shooting the movie before Thor and Captain America came out, but Loki was by far the more well-received character.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people generally liked Captain America the First Avenger, but if you're talking pure villain comparison, people liked Loki a lot better than Red Skull.
Loki's always been a very interesting, a very sort of tragic villain because all them daddy issues. We were having a discussion about that the other day. Is like how the MCU is just rife with daddy issues.
Yeah, they referenced that in Infinity War too, without spoiling anything in specific. They definitely reference all the family trauma that they all have.
Daddy wasn't there. An Austin Powers reference for you fellas and gals and other.
It's only for the boys, girls. That wasn't for you.
Yes, I have decided to spurn our female listeners. Anyway, so
we'll do other references for you, but you're not allowed to enjoy the Austin Powers reference.
They will all be they all have to do with typical gender norms. So they're all gonna have to do with Barbie and pink things because I'm sexist. Anyway.
And it's clearly the only thing you all understand.
Yeah, like why would you enjoy things like superheroes or like Star Wars or because those are only for the boys. We all know this.
Yep. It's truth.
Yeah, it's boys wear blue and girls wear pink. That's how the world works.
I'm wearing pink right now.
Well, you're a girl. Obviously. Society has told me this.
I'm actually wearing blue. I have blue jeans and a blue shirt.
You are.
To drive the point home.
I'm wearing nothing. At all. No.
He lost the shirt halfway through the podcast.
Because we always have to turn the AC unit off when we podcast. The first like 3/4 of this podcast were very, very potty joke and very potty joke and dick joke centric.
Yeah, poopy humor.
We're trying to salvage that for some.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more well spoken than I was. Just when we were recording, it's earlier. Being
more awake and having coffee in our system is more conducive to having a decent, lucid podcast, isn't it?
Okay, so it is running pretty long now. So even though it's expected when you're talking about 4 different movies, but
yeah, the Avengers though was definitely, like I said earlier, it was a bunch of factors coming together to amount to something greater than the sum of their parts. It was the best movie to date in the franchise,
hands down, no
best.
question.
Loki was an excellent villain. Every character got an amazing chance to shine. Both in terms of action sequences and their verbal sparring.
One thing I didn't like about the movie, real quick, I didn't like that they made Hawkeye go bad, because there was like no emotional weight to it, because we hadn't like become friends with Hawkeye yet. It was like they took the character we knew the least. Like I kind of understand why they did it, but I would have rather. I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like they didn't need to do that. I feel like doing it with... If you just took some random S.H.I.E.L.D. agents...
Yeah.
Or, I mean, with Eric Selvig, it worked because we knew him. We cared.
Maria Hill. Maybe.
We didn't know Maria Hill until that movie. That was her first appearance, too.
That's also true. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who... I mean, if they... I did think it was interesting to see, because he's definitely on people's list of like best Avengers. Like if you look at like anything, people like ranking people in terms of power, people ranking in terms of popularity, or because like you said, there was no real emotional weight to it, because you didn't really know who he was. You'd seen him for like 2 seconds in Thor. He caused a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, he did.
So that I thought that gave him a little bit of like street cred.
I guess I shouldn't say that I didn't like that they did that with the character. I just didn't like that was our introduction. Because even though he was in Thor, he was literally in that movie. He had like 2 lines and almost no screen time. If they had him in there more... Yeah. Like if they had a couple of interactions with him and Coulson or something,
him like saving the Asgardians' asses from the
he could have slipped him into even the final fight scene with the destroyer. Like if they had done, Phil Coulson was there. Like why would you put Hawkeye in that movie and give him absolutely no time?
The destroyer backhanding Asgardians across, about to like do a full furnace blast on Thor, but out of nowhere 2 explosive arrows hit it in each shoulder and knock it off balance and give Thor give away. Anything that you could have done, but it's just I will say, I agree with you. Don't like that they made him the villain, but it did give him some street cred, because he wreaked a lot of havoc, and not because he's an innately powerful character. He is an Avenger of great focus and of great precision.
Well, so here's the thing. I know that in their own way they were doing fan service as well, because just like Black Widow, Hawkeye was originally a villain in the comics. Yes.
Really?
Yep. Both Black Widow and Hawkeye were originally villains, and before they became S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and before they joined the Avengers.
I knew Black Widow. I thought Hawkeye had always been.
Nope. He was a villain, and it was actually funny because the first iteration of the Avengers was Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Those were the first 5, and then after not long at all, it had transitioned to Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Widow.
Thor?
No. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, I want to say.
Okay.
And they were all villains. Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Hawkeye, and
Black
Widow. I'm pretty sure that was the lineup. If I'm off by 1 or 2 of them.
Well, in the comics, because that's interesting that they in the comics they were Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were obviously on again, off again, children of Magneto, so they were.
Yeah, they were always his children. Once it was revealed, it was always that way. But they were. I forget if they were always part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, or they were introduced in another way. It's been too long, but anyway, it was just kind of funny because Captain America was the leader, but then there were all these other characters who were bad guys gone good. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I know that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Because of that fact, but I just wish that he had. I guess this is more of a complaint about Thor than the Avengers, but I wish that they had given him, given him a character before that happened. Mm-hmm. So anyway, guys, it's been real fun talking about these movies with you.
Yep. Again, hopefully the last 20 minutes of this can salvage all of the nonsense from the first portion.
So, yep. Closing strong.
Give me Carry the Beat, boys. Free my soul. I want to get lost in the rock and roll, and drift away to
Never Land.
Never Land. And we're gonna stop right there.